Athens, 335 BC. The Lyceum. Golden afternoon light filters through marble columns. The air smells of olive trees and parchment. In a shaded courtyard, students gather in a semicircle, sitting on stone benches. At the center stands Aristotle, not yet 50, sharp eyes, a mind that will shape Western civilization for millennia. He holds a single gold coin, turning it over in his fingers. "Observe this coin," he says to his students. "What is its purpose?" A young student responds eagerly. "To buy goods, master. To trade." Aristotle nods slowly. "Precisely. Money is a tool, a medium of exchange. It facilitates the good life. But it is not the good life itself. We do not seek wealth for its own sake. We seek eudaimonia, human flourishing, virtue, a life well lived. This gold has value because we agree it does, because it can be exchanged for things of genuine worth. Food, shelter, books, the materials needed for a virtuous existence." The students nod, taking notes on wax tablets. Everything makes sense. Value is rooted in utility, in purpose, in the tangible. The scene holds for a moment, then begins to shift. The marble columns blur. Time accelerates. Centuries pass in seconds. Architecture transforms. Stone becomes steel. Olive groves become skyscrapers. Suddenly, Aristotle stands in Times Square. December 24th, 2025. Chaos. Noise. Digital billboards tower overhead. Flashing advertisements, news tickers, crypto prices scrolling endlessly. People rush past, faces buried in glowing rectangles. Aristotle's robes are the same. His posture unchanged, but his eyes widen slightly, taking in this impossible world. A massive holographic Bitcoin symbol materializes before him. Rotating, glowing gold and orange, ticker beneath it. BTC, $180,000 plus 12.4%. He stares at it, not with confusion, with analysis. The same look he gave that coin 2,360 years ago. He reaches forward slowly. His fingers pass through the hologram. No substance, no weight, no tangible reality. His brow furrows, not in rejection, in questioning. A voice emerges, speaking to him from everywhere and nowhere. The same voice that brought back Tesla. The same voice that guides these resurrections. "Welcome, Aristotle. We need your wisdom." Aristotle's gaze sharpens. "Speak. Humanity has created a new form of money. Digital, decentralized, scarce by design. No kings control it. No temples hold it. It exists only in mathematics and collective belief." Aristotle processes this. Money without substance. How can value exist without material form? "That," the voice responds, "is exactly what we need you to determine." Aristotle looks back at the Bitcoin hologram. His expression is unreadable. Then, almost imperceptibly, he nods. "Very well. Let us examine this cryptocurrency through the lens of philosophy. Let us see if it serves human flourishing or merely human folly." Aristotle stands in a white void. Around him, concepts begin to materialize as visual representations. A field of wheat appears, golden, tangible, real. He gestures toward it. "In my time, value was simple to understand," he begins. "Wheat has value because it nourishes. A home has value because it shelters. A tool has value because it accomplishes work. This is intrinsic utility. Purpose. Telos. The wheat transforms into a loaf of bread. We trade wheat for bread not because of arbitrary agreement, but because both serve genuine human needs." He picks up a gold coin that appears in his hand. Even money, which I studied extensively, derives its value from agreement, yes, but also from its properties. Gold is durable, divisible, recognizable, scarce. It serves as a medium of exchange because these properties make it useful for that purpose. The scene shifts. Suddenly, Aristotle stands before a massive digital display showing Bitcoin's code. Lines of cryptographic algorithms scroll past. He studies it intently. This Bitcoin, it has no physical form. I cannot hold it, cannot use it to build a house or feed my family directly. Its utility is purely, what is the word? Abstract. A visualization appears. The Bitcoin network. Thousands of nodes, glowing points connected by lines of light, spanning the globe. Yet, he continues, his tone shifting, it possesses properties my contemporaries never imagined. It is mathematically scarce. Only 21 million will ever exist, enforced not by human decree, but by algorithmic law. He walks around the network visualization. It is infinitely divisible, transferred instantly across vast distances, verified by thousands simultaneously. No central authority can debase it or seize it arbitrarily. His expression grows contemplative. Perhaps I was wrong to require physical substance for value. Perhaps what matters is not the material, but the function, the purpose it serves. The scene transitions. Now Aristotle observes a timeline, the evolution of money, shells, salt, precious metals, paper notes, digital bank accounts, finally, cryptocurrency. Each transition, he notes, moved further from intrinsic utility toward collective agreement. Paper money has even less inherent value than gold, yet it functions because societies agree it functions. He pauses before Bitcoin's symbol. Is this simply the next evolution? Money as pure information, secured by mathematics rather than armies? But then his expression darkens. Another visualization appears. A Bitcoin price chart. Violent volatility, massive spikes and crashes. However, his tone becomes critical. If Bitcoin's primary use is not as a medium of exchange, but as speculation, hoping to sell it for more than one paid, then it has abandoned the purpose of money entirely. He gestures and images appear. People staring at charts, forums full of HODL, and to the moon. Fortunes made and lost overnight. This is not a tool for flourishing. This is gambling dressed in technological sophistication. Money, I maintained, should be a means to an end, a tool for acquiring genuine goods that enable virtuous living. He watches traders on screens, obsessed with price movements. When money becomes the end itself, when the accumulation of abstract wealth supersedes its use for genuine needs, then we have lost sight of Eudaimonia entirely. Aristotle turns away from the charts. So the first question, does cryptocurrency serve as a tool for human flourishing, or has it become an object of empty obsession? The question hangs in the air, unanswered. The scene shifts. Aristotle now stands in ancient Athens, a row of modest houses, citizens tending their gardens, workshops, small plots of land. In my politics, Aristotle begins, I argued that private property serves virtue. When a person owns their land, their tools, their home, they take responsibility for it. They improve it. They contribute to the community's welfare through their stewardship. He gestures to a citizen pruning an olive tree. That man cares for this tree because it is his, because its fruit will feed his family, because he can pass it to his children. Ownership creates accountability and fosters the development of practical wisdom. The scene morphs. Suddenly, Aristotle stands before a visualization of blockchain technology, a transparent, glowing ledger. Every transaction visible, immutable, time-stamped. He examines it closely. Fascinating. This blockchain creates ownership through pure information. Yet unlike the documents and deeds of my time, which could be forged or destroyed, this record is distributed across thousands of custodians simultaneously. He touches the ledger, and a specific transaction illuminates. When someone owns Bitcoin, they possess a cryptographic key, not the thing itself, but the ability to transfer it. Ownership as mathematics. His expression is thoughtful. There is elegance here, transparency without central authority. Every citizen can verify every transaction. No corrupt official can alter records. No tyrant can seize property by simply burning documents. But then a new visualization appears. NFTs, digital images, tweets, virtual land in metaverses. Price tags in the millions. Aristotle stares at a $69 million Beeple NFT. His silence is profound. Someone, he finally says, his voice carefully neutral, paid $69 million for an image anyone can view freely? He walks around the NFT, examining it from all angles. The argument is that they own the original. But what does original mean when perfect copies cost nothing to create? When the asset exists simultaneously everywhere and nowhere? Another visualization. Someone shows off their bored ape NFT, their avatar in a virtual world, their claimed social status. In Athens, Aristotle continues, property was valued for its use. A home shelters, a field feeds, even art, a beautiful statue, serves the purpose of inspiring virtue, beautifying the polis, honoring the gods. He gestures to the NFT. But this? Its purpose is to signal wealth, to display that one could spend millions on something functionally identical to the free copy. This is not property in service of flourishing. This is vanity given technological form. Yet he pauses, reconsiders. Although, in my time, did we not commission portraits? Commission epic poetry about our deeds? Perhaps humans have always used wealth to signal status. Perhaps NFTs are simply the digital evolution of peacock feathers. The scene shifts again. Now Aristotle observes DeFi protocols, lending platforms, yield farming, liquidity pools, complex financial instruments built entirely in code. This is remarkable, he admits. Financial services with no bankers, loans with no loan officers, agreements executed automatically when conditions are met. What you call smart contracts. He watches transactions executing automatically, trustlessly. In theory, this could serve the common good. Access to financial tools for those excluded by traditional systems. Transparency preventing corruption. But then he sees the reality. Rug pulls, scams, projects promising impossible returns, anonymous developers vanishing with millions. His expression hardens, yet without accountability, without knowing who builds these systems, without reputation and character to judge. Trust becomes impossible, and without trust, community fractures. He turns to face the camera directly. Property, I argued, should serve both the individual and the community. Ownership creates responsibility. But what responsibility exists when owners are pseudonymous? When developers are anonymous? When there is no polis to hold anyone accountable? Another unanswered question, suspended in digital space. Aristotle stands before a visualization of ancient Athens' agora. Citizens gathering, debating, voting with white and black stones. The polis, he says, his voice carrying weight, is humanity's highest achievement. A community of citizens pursuing the good life together, not merely living in proximity, but actively participating in collective governance. He gestures to the citizens. Each has a voice. Each contributes according to their virtue and wisdom. The goal is not individual profit, but communal flourishing. The polis exists so that citizens can achieve eudaimonia together. The agora dissolves, replaced by a modern corporation. Boardrooms, shareholders, hierarchy, centralized control. Your modern institutions, Aristotle observes, have abandoned this ideal. Corporations serve profit, not virtue. Governments grow distant from citizens. The powerful make decisions, the people obey. Then a new structure appears before him. A DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. Token holders, proposal systems, democratic voting mechanisms visualized in flowing light. Aristotle circles it slowly, analyzing. Intriguing. Governance without governors. Decisions made by those with stake in the outcome. Transparent voting. Automatic execution of the collective will. He watches a DAO proposal pass. Funding for a public good. Votes tallying in real time. The decision executing automatically through smart contracts. This, he says, a hint of approval in his tone, resembles my ideal more closely than your corporations. Direct participation, transparency, collective decision-making. But then problems appear. A DAO fractures over a contentious vote. Another is captured by whales. A few massive token holders controlling outcomes. A third devolves into endless, unresolved debate. Aristotle's enthusiasm dampens. You have recreated the problems of democracy without solving them. In Athens, we limited citizenship because governance requires wisdom, education, and virtue. Pure democracy, rule by the uninformed masses, leads to chaos. He gestures to a DAO vote where participants clearly don't understand the technical proposal. Here, voting power is determined by wealth, by token holdings. So the rich dominate, as in oligarchy, or voting is open to all, including those with no knowledge of what they're voting on, as in mob rule. Another visualization, global crypto communities, Discord servers with thousands, Twitter crypto tribes, anonymous avatars arguing endlessly. You claim these are communities, Aristotle challenges. But what binds them besides shared financial interest? Where is the philia, the deep friendship that sustains a true polis? Where is the shared virtue, the common pursuit of excellence? He watches anonymous accounts fighting over price predictions, calling each other paper hands and engmi. This is not community. This is a temporary alliance of self-interest. When profits dry up, so does the community. There is no shared land, no shared culture, no shared responsibility to one another. But then another scene. A crypto project genuinely trying. Building schools in developing nations. Funding open source technology. Creating tools for the unbanked. Aristotle observes this carefully. Perhaps I judge too quickly. Can a community form around shared values? Even without shared land? Can purpose transcend geography? He sees developers collaborating across continents. Strangers sending money to help strangers in crisis, mediated by cryptocurrency. The technology enables forms of coordination my generation never imagined. Instant value transfer globally. Trustless cooperation between unknown parties. Perhaps the polis can exist in digital space after all. But his expression remains skeptical. Yet the question persists. Are these tools being used for genuine communal flourishing, or merely for individual enrichment dressed in the language of revolution? He stands silent for a moment, then speaks quietly. The greatest danger is not the technology itself. It is that humans will use it to amplify their vices rather than their virtues. Aristotle now stands in a space representing the human soul. Abstract, ethereal. Different colors representing different virtues. Courage, temperance, wisdom, justice. Let us return to first principles, he begins. What is the purpose of human existence? I have always maintained Eudaimonia, the flourishing life. Not pleasure, not wealth, but the full realization of human excellence. The virtues glow around him. To achieve this, one must cultivate virtue, courage, wisdom, justice, temperance. These are not mere abstractions. They are practical capabilities developed through habit and education. He gestures and scenes of ancient life appear. A teacher with students, a craftsman perfecting his work, a citizen deliberating in assembly. Virtue requires community. It requires mentorship. It requires practice in real situations where one's character is tested and refined. The scene shifts dramatically. A modern crypto trader, alone in a dark room, staring at screens. Hours pass. Days. No human interaction. Just charts and Discord messages. What virtue, Aristotle asks pointedly, is cultivated here? Is this courage? Risking money on speculation? Is this wisdom? Following YouTube predictions and Twitter influencers? He watches the trader's emotions. Euphoria when prices rise, despair when they crash, anxiety constantly. This is not temperance. It is its opposite. Addiction to volatility. The belief that quick riches will bring happiness. Another scene. Someone boasting about their gains, flaunting wealth, mocking those who lost money. This is not justice. It is exploitation. When one profits from cryptocurrency, where does that profit come from? Often from those who bought higher and will sell lower. From the uneducated being exploited by the sophisticated. Aristotle's tone becomes stern. I called some wealth acquisition crematistics, the art of getting rich for its own sake. I considered it a corruption of proper economics, which should serve household needs and community welfare. He gestures to the DeFi ecosystem, leverage trading, APNG into memecoins. Much of what I see is pure crematistics. Wealth accumulation divorced from productivity, from virtue, from genuine contribution to human welfare. But then the scene changes. A different crypto user. They're learning about computer science to understand blockchain, studying economics, thinking critically about monetary systems. Aristotle watches this with interest. Here, perhaps, is intellectual virtue being cultivated. Curiosity, rigor, independent thinking. Another scene. Someone using cryptocurrency to escape authoritarian capital controls. Sending money to family in a crisis. Preserving wealth during hyperinflation. And here, Aristotle acknowledges, the technology serves genuine human needs. Autonomy, care for family, prudent management of resources. He sees open-source developers building public goods, accepting no payment. Artists funding their work directly through NFTs, bypassing exploitative intermediaries. There are, he admits, examples of virtue within this ecosystem. Generosity, ingenuity, collaboration. The question is proportion. Are these the norm or the exception? Aristotle creates a scale in the air. On one side, speculation, scams, greed, exploitation. On the other, innovation, financial inclusion, autonomy, creative funding. The scale tips heavily toward the first side. As it stands, he says gravely, cryptocurrency culture seems dominated by the pursuit of wealth for its own sake, by the belief that becoming rich through speculation is a path to happiness. He turns to address an invisible audience directly. But I ask you, how many stories have you heard of someone made truly happy by cryptocurrency riches? And how many stories of anxiety, loss, regret, and relationships destroyed? The question hangs heavy. Money, whether gold or Bitcoin, cannot buy eudaimonia. It can provide the material foundation for a good life. But the good life itself requires virtue, requires community, requires purpose beyond accumulation. The scene transforms. Aristotle now stands in a metaverse, a digital world, avatars walking past, virtual real estate, digital fashion, an entire economy existing in pixels. He looks around with profound skepticism. "You have created," he says slowly, "an entire world that does not exist." He watches avatars interacting, some dancing, some attending virtual concerts, some gambling in virtual casinos. "In my philosophy, the body matters. Physical health, physical courage, tangible action in the world. Human beings are not simply minds. We are embodied creatures. Our flourishing requires engagement with material reality." He observes someone spending hours in VR, their physical body atrophying. If one spends their life in simulation, are they truly living? Can virtue be cultivated in a world with no real consequences? Can courage exist without actual risk? Can temperance exist when one can simply respawn? But then he sees something else. A disabled person, confined to a wheelchair, exploring virtual worlds with freedom impossible in physical space. Finding community, finding joy. Aristotle pauses. His expression softens. "Perhaps I must reconsider. If someone cannot engage the physical world fully, does the virtual offer genuine opportunities for connection and experience? Is it better than isolation?" He sees long-distance friends meeting in VR, separated lovers sharing virtual spaces, educational experiences impossible in physical reality. The question, he muses, is not whether the virtual is inherently bad. It is whether it enhances physical existence or replaces it, whether it serves flourishing or substitutes for it. He watches someone balancing both. Meaningful work in the physical world, enriching experiences in the digital, using each appropriately. This, perhaps, demonstrates practical wisdom, phronesis, knowing when and how to use each tool appropriately. But then he sees the extremes, people withdrawing from physical reality entirely, spending fortunes on virtual land while neglecting real responsibilities, addicted to digital dopamine. Yet when the virtual becomes more real than reality, when digital wealth matters more than character, when avatars are cultivated more carefully than one's actual self, this is not eudaimonia. This is escapism. Aristotle steps out of the metaverse, back into empty space. The technology is neutral, he concludes. Like money, like any tool, what matters is how it is used, whether it serves virtue or vice, whether it enhances human flourishing or diminishes it. You ask me to judge cryptocurrency through the lens of philosophy, to determine if it serves human flourishing. The technology itself is remarkable. Decentralized consensus, trustless verification, resistance to censorship and debasement. These are genuine innovations with real potential. For those under authoritarian regimes, cryptocurrency offers financial autonomy. For the unbanked, access to global markets. For artists, direct patronage. For developers, permissionless innovation. However, the culture that has formed around cryptocurrency is deeply troubling. It is dominated by speculation, by the belief that wealth itself is the goal, by exploitation of the uninformed by the sophisticated. Too often, I see not innovation but greed, not community but tribalism, not wisdom but foolish risk-taking dressed as courage, not virtue but vice amplified by technology. So my answer is this: cryptocurrency, like any tool, is neutral. Its impact depends entirely on how it is used and by whom. If you use cryptocurrency to escape oppression, to access financial services denied you, to support genuine innovation, to build real community around shared values. Then perhaps it serves eudaimonia. But if you use it to speculate wildly, to chase wealth for its own sake, to exploit others' ignorance, to escape from rather than engage with reality, then it serves only vice. The question is not, is crypto good or bad? The question is, are you using it virtuously or viciously? I taught that the good life requires moderation, the golden mean between extremes, not poverty, but not obsession with wealth, not isolation, but not losing oneself in crowds, not rejection of pleasure, but not enslavement to it. Apply this wisdom to cryptocurrency. Use it as a tool when appropriate. Do not worship it. Do not let it consume your life. Do not mistake digital gold for genuine flourishing. And remember, no amount of Bitcoin will make you virtuous. No NFT will bring you wisdom. No Tao will teach you courage. These you must cultivate yourself through practice, through community, through the hard work of becoming excellent. The technology of 2025 would seem like magic to me. But human nature? That has not changed in 2,360 years. We still struggle with greed, with fear, with the temptation to believe that external wealth will bring internal peace. Use your tools wisely. Remember your humanity. Seek eudaimonia, not just enrichment. Build communities of genuine care, not just shared financial interest. The good life is still possible, even in the age of digital gold. But it requires the same thing it always has: virtue.